Hey, Zina, this is Eric. Hope you're doing well. And everyone who's listened to this podcast, I have an awesome guest, Zina Turner, and I just wanted to give her opportunity to share a little bit more about who she is.
I'm doing great, thank you. I am a certified integrative nutrition health coach and registered yoga teacher. I have a full time health coaching practice and wellness blog based out of Naperville. I do consulting in the Chicagoland area, but I also do global online consulting through FaceTime. I teach workshops and lead seminars. I'm contracted by companies to teach corporate wellness workshops. For example, this week I'll be partnering with FitSpot and leading a wellness seminar for busy execs.
Excellent, Zina. This is a great time. We are in the fall season as we record this, and I know you have a lot going for you in terms of how to help someone stay healthier in the fall. But before we dive into all of that, can you share with the audience one cool or unique fact about yourself?
Um, well, I am currently enhancing my expertise through a hormone health course designed for integrative nutrition graduates by doctors and specialists, and it focuses on recognizing hormone health and kind of coaching clients to achieve better health. So I think that this is to be certified in or to have hormone health as a specialty, I think is going to really help my clients go a long way.
Awesome. It sounds really fun. And actually, we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So that's really a good point. And so fall is upon us. And a lot of people are kind of getting nervous with it. You know, usually the stress comes in and working out goes out the window and eating unhealthy creeps in. And I'm wondering if you could share with us some simple tips on how to get healthy or stay healthy this fall.
Definitely. So, fall kind of gives us an opportunity to pause and refocus on everything that we'd like to achieve. It's a great time to reevaluate intentions, but it can also be a really taxing season. Just getting back into schedules for school and the weather gets colder, all of the holiday demands. So I like to remind my clients that the way we eat, think, sleep, and move has a direct impact on our health. I mean, wellness is a huge topic, but there's a really great way to organize it so that it's manageable and applicable. Um, I'll be leading a couple of fall wellness workshops in October and November. And some of the information I cover, I like to put it into four different pillars. And I like for my clients to kind of think about these four pillars as four legs on your chair and just kind of the way that it's supporting you. So the first, I guess, big tip when thinking about fall wellness would be fuel. The food that we eat, how we nourish our body. That's just extremely important. The food that we eat is going to have the greatest impact on our total health and wellness. Um, so just everybody, what I guess when we think about food, what's nourishing to one person might not be nourishing to another. So if we just follow some simple guidelines like quality matters,
Mm.
eating local, organic, and in season when possible. Just thinking about what some of those fall harvest foods are, like what is in harvest right now. Sweet potatoes, squash, beets, carrots, radish, turnips, arugula, kale.
Mm.
Just lots of greens, lots of root vegetables, foods that are grounding. I'm not sure if you're familiar with food energetics.
Mm, kind of. Could you share with our audience a little bit more about that? That'd be great.
Yeah, well, so the law of food energetics states that if you eat lots of root vegetables, that you will be grounded. So I like to definitely feed those to my kids and recommend them to my clients. But yeah, just making warming foods, lots of soups and stews with a lot of food that is in season. You know, and when we eat this way, we're really ensuring that we have the proper micronutrient load. So as we head into the winter season, it's really vital to make sure that we have our omega-3s and that we have enough vitamin D, which definitely tend to be lower in the fall and winter. Um, and it's not just about supplementing with these, but like literally getting them from our food. So omega-3 is a essential fatty acid, which means our body doesn't make it, but it's required to keep things running smoothly. And it's kind of harder for the body to use unless we have enough of it at it. So omega-3 has been shown to decrease inflammation, but it can also I lost my train of thought, but let me go back. So some great omega-3 sources would be wild caught fish, such as salmon, mackerels, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, and then making sure that we have enough vitamin D in our diet. This, especially when sun exposure goes down, probably 70 to 80% of people are given a prescription for vitamin D. That's kind of not the same vitamin D that our body makes or needs. So kind of seeking out those foods through sunshine and diet, figuring out how we can get that into our diet is really important. So that would be the first pillar. Another really important pillar for us to think about during this time is sleep or restoration. I guess restoration would be the pillar, but a part of that would be sleep. And it's just super crucial. I think a lot of people don't realize how important sleep is to your overall wellness, because without it, you're just really, running on a restoration deficit. And sleep messes with our metabolism. So it's really important that we focus on how to get better sleep during the winter and the fall. Sleep timing, duration, and quality all play a major role in hormone balance. And so I guess some tips, let's get to that. Some tips that we can do for better sleep. Just creating a sound barrier, using a fan or a white noise machine, some earplugs. Our bodies are really light sensitive, so keeping the light away, using blackout curtains, getting an eye mask, reducing our exposure to blue light, especially before bedtime. A lot of people, the blue blocking glasses have become pretty popular. So those are really good to use, but it's also really important to just power down, especially at night. Setting an alarm for bed, giving yourself at least 15 minutes or so to get ready with no ambient or no blue light coming towards you. Sleeping in a cool environment.
Is there real quick here? Is there like a body temperature or room temperature that's ideal?
Yes, keeping it in like the 60s, like between 60 and 65, is a great place to keep your temperature for fall and winter, because a lot of people tend to turn the heat up, and then the dryness messes with all of our sinuses and all of that. But it's just our bodies tend to wake more. That there's like so many scientific studies that back that up, that if you're sleeping in a hotter room, your body tends to just wake naturally. So trying to turn the temperature down and keeping it cool will just help you stay asleep longer. Snuggling underneath the covers if it, so you're not cold. Um,
It's good to know.
Also, yeah, late night snacks, kind of, that's another one I think that a lot of clients and I talk about, people like to have that late night glass of wine or late night snack, and just understanding that, our bodies are either going to spend the time detoxing or digesting the food, or our liver's going to spend the time detoxing the alcohol, or if we don't have that, then our body can, properly break down what it needs to for the day and have the energy just to leave you ready and detoxed, ready for the next day.
So no snacking after 8.
Well, that's what's recommended. And if you absolutely have to, because, you've got to live life, then just making a choice that will be helpful, like grabbing a handful of almonds that are full of magnesium, that will, muscle relaxing food, or sipping on herbal tea. Just making different choices.
That's pretty good. That's excellent. What else do you have for us as far as how to prepare for the fall?
So we talked. So if we're thinking about restoration still, I think it's important to consider self-care. So making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, and some really good ways to do that: getting massages, warm baths with Epsom salts for extra minerals, making sure that we don't since it gets cold outside, that we don't isolate ourselves. And then keeping in mind the opposite of that, since it is the holiday season, sometimes we're out way too much and we're way too social. So taking the time to wind down and relax when we need it. So those would be two of the pillars that we go over, which would be nutrition or fuel and restoration. Another really important tip for fall would be just mindfulness.
Yeah, share with us a little bit more about that, because I'm really into that too.
Okay. Give me just 1 second.
You're fine.
Okay, so mindfulness comes in the form of stress management, self-talk, and meditation. I think this is a really important pillar that is often overlooked. But the truth is, we can eat all of the kale that we want and drink all of the green smoothies, but if we're not managing our stress, we are not going to be healthy. So some ways that we can, I guess, stop and be more mindful is to be aware of that inner dialogue that's going on. Sorry, I do not know what is going on here. my brain has ceased working.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Um, this is always a good way to, I don't know, collect your thoughts. And like I said, this is not going to be, uh, this is going to be
Yeah,
edited.
glad that we didn't do the live because I was like, oh, I can talk about this for hours, and all of a sudden my brain
No.
is just seriously like,
Well, let me just say this too, that sometimes early on when I was doing these interviews too, since I wasn't seeing the other person, this was really early on, like a few years ago.
yeah,
I wasn't sure how to kind of like interject or ask questions and so forth, and then threw me off a little bit because I wasn't seeing the other person. I'm not sure if that's how you feel, but
I feel like I'm just talking and talking, and then I'm like, wait, what did I say? And I'm like,
oh
oh, that doesn't, I don't know. It's kind of funny. But no, okay, I think I can finish this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, keep it simple, keep it short, keep it sweet, um, and um,
Yeah, I started getting in my own head too, just like thinking about how I was coming across and how I was sounding. I was just, I don't, it's really weird because I do workshops, but I mean, probably because it's not recorded. And so
oh, 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 oh.
it's just more natural.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree that since you said it, yes, I thought you got into your head a little bit and started rambling, not in the wrong way, but um, yeah, because here's one thing that I've learned that I make you laugh. Here's one thing that I learned is there are people who will um, share a message or a story or answer the question I ask, and then I don't want to break their flow, and I'm wondering uh, if I should have said some things early on or something that make you feel less conscious, but I didn't want to break your flow and catch you off guard a little bit. So let me know if you want me to interject more or anything.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that might help guide it a little bit more,
Yeah,
like with questions or whatever. But
sure.
yeah, thank
Okay.
you. I really appreciate your support. I'm like, I seriously don't, I'm like, my brain just blanked out on
No,
me.
I'm confident you have the information. Um, it's how we deliver it, right? And so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Where do you want to pick up? Do you want to start
So
over with the mindset stuff? Because that's kind of where we left off. Um, I mean, we don't have to
yeah.
talk about all of that. I mean, we can kind of keep some stuff, to your workshops or something like that, and we can move on. Maybe we can discuss the hormones and invite people if they want to know more about the others uh, pillars or whatever that they can reach out to you. How's that or something?
Yeah, that sounds good too.
Okay. Um, Let me know when you're ready, and I'll kind of introduce the hormone stuff, and then we can discuss that.
Okay. Give me just a second. Let me
Sure.
just take a couple breaths here
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
rambling.
No, no, no. Absolutely. And you had said to me before too. This is kind of your first type of interview type of thing, or no?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
absolutely is. That's why
Okay.
I was like, oh, we got to do this because I can get some experience on this,
Yeah.
down this path, because I've never done anything like this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. 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 I just to make you feel better, I could remember our first interview I did via podcasting or this type of way, I guess, and I'm not sure if you're sweating or anything, but I was like sweating like a pig that first time because I was like wanted to get it perfect, and I can remember quite a few mistakes. Technically, I thought I had everything set up, but then it actually didn't go as planned, like the other day, and scrambling just to get it to work, and then finally I figured out a way to get it to work after 5 minutes or whatever it was, and I think the first podcast is still up, and you can go back and listen to that and hear how terrible it was. But yes, been there, so I totally understand how you are feeling. But I want to say that treat this whole thing, and maybe I mentioned this before, just treat this whole thing like um, a conversation you would have with your girlfriend or something. But I'm not a girl, but just just that type of thing, I'm sure they ask you all the time, and you just, you know, answer the question like like nothing,
Yeah,
right?
just
So
like we're talking. I know.
yeah,
I gotta come back to it just being a conversation
yeah,
because it's so much different than, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and a lot slower. So I'm not like trying to throw information at people.
yeah. No, no,
Uh,
it's all good. And so if you feel good, or where you are right now, let's let me know and we'll continue.
okay, sure. Go ahead. Let's do
Let's
this.
just do that. Awesome. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, Zina, this was awesome information. I really appreciate you sharing all that info. And I want to make sure we touch on this one, which was the hormones you brought up earlier. What could you share with us a little bit on how we can get healthier with it this fall?
Great. So many people don't realize that common concerns are that they or common health concerns are just probably tied to hormone imbalances. You know, really common things like difficulty losing weight, um, adrenal fatigue, which is that feeling where you're really tired but you
Hmm.
can't sleep, like call it wired and tired.
Hmm.
Thyroid disorders, skin issues, mood swings. You know, there's just so many health issues tied to hormone imbalance. And often people associate hormone imbalance as a woman's issue,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a common problem for men too. Um, you know, testosterone levels can just wreak havoc on men's health. And
Hmm.
it's very common for men as they age to have dual conditions like low testosterone and high cholesterol.
Hmm.
So I think that I was seeing a lot of these same issues with my clients. And so trying to figure out just what it is and how we can solve it naturally.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, of course, going to your doctor and getting all of the appropriate testing and knowing exactly what is going on, and then finding a health coach to help, you know, just guide you through, because kind of once you leave your doctor's office, you're just like, you know, now what?
Hmm.
You either leave there with just some medication and hope,
Hmm.
or, you know, so just picking up from there. And again, the way we eat, think, sleep, and move has a direct impact on our health. So I like to think about hormones in that same way.
Hmm. Real quick, is what would you say to a male or even female who um, is struggling with their diet specifically, and they're wanting to improve their hormone balance issues, that they just received a diagnosis or a result from their doctors? How would you coach them through that?
Okay, so the food we eat plays a big role in hormone balance. Our hormones are made up of amino acids from the protein and the fatty acids from the fat. So the better quality of food or material, the better quality of foods that we're eating, the better quality our hormones are going to of hormones our bodies are going to create.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a variety of nutrients is also really important. And then just understanding that each type of food has a different structure and offers a different group of micronutrients. So I think it's really important to get a basic understanding of how macro, micro, and healthy fats all kind of work together, finding that balance. Um, because your body uses every bite of food that you eat. You know, it turns into a metabolic process at a cellular level. I mean, you literally are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, if we're looking at foods that are beneficial to hormone health, you know, clean proteins, grass-fed meats, wild caught fish, salmon, tuna, pasture-raised chicken, turkey, organic eggs. Um, so having protein at each meal is very important for hormone balance. Um, Understanding those healthy fats, like I said earlier, because our hormones are made from fatty acids, it's important that we have high quality, healthy fats incorporated into our diet, and not overly. So if we're going to use avocado, definitely not the entire avocado.
Mm.
Um, but things like olive oil, coconut butter, grass-fed butter, nuts, seeds, and it just kind of depends because there are so many different imbalances that you can have to figure out what
Mm-hmm.
kind of foods. So if your hormone imbalance is tied to a micronutrient deficiency, those foods are going to be different than if your hormone imbalance is tied to your blood sugar.
Mm. Just real quick here, macronutrition. Which ones are those? Just for the people to just be clear.
Yeah, so macronutrients are, is going to be your protein, um, carbs, and healthy fats. Basically, you can break
Right.
it down that way. And then
Okay.
just kind of thinking, like, if you use your hand as a guide, so the palm of your hand is the amount of protein that you would generally take, your thumb would be the amount of healthy fat that you would need at that meal. That is going to help you process um, the micronutrients and turn them into, to just do their job.
Mm-hmm.
And then your hand, if you used your scooped hand, that would be the amount of vegetables or carbs that you would take in. Carbs are kind of getting a bad rap these days. That's kind of something that I've noticed a lot with my clients is they're just afraid to eat carbs.
I've heard
And
that. Heard that.
yeah, and our bodies really need carbs. Our muscles need it to make the glycogen to break it down. Our brains need
Mm.
carbs. Like carbs are just really necessary for our bodies.
Yeah.
So just kind of balancing. I mean, and I don't want to tell anybody how to eat. So if eating a high fat diet and no carbs is working for you, then that's great. But just kind of figuring out what are some of the healthier carbs, like, and then in season carbs, like maybe sweet potatoes or fibrous vegetables, soaked, sprouted or fermented grains. So if you're eating more complex carbs like that, it'll kind of go the distance. Um,
Let me ask you this real
but
quick here, Zena. And I don't want to change the topic too much, but people are listening to all this and they're wondering, that's great information, but how do I make it happen?
um, well, I think the first thing to do is to educate yourself on how your body, what are some the basic guidelines for how your body uses edit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm not sure if I threw it off there, but I'm
No, that's okay because that's a really good question. That's a really important question.
yeah.
You know, and so the answer is basically starting out with like a basic understanding of how your body works. So understanding which macronutrients your body needs, which micronutrients are essential for wellness, understanding healthy fats. If you understand those three things, then you're going to be able to build a healthier plate
Mm.
and I mean, there's hundreds of dietary theories out there. So
Mm-hmm.
rather than following any one dietary theory, like, rather than saying, oh, I'm going to eat all paleo or
Right.
I'm going to be keto this week, just kind of taking a step back and figuring out how those how micronutrients work, how macronutrients work, how healthy fats work, and then figuring out which foods nourish your body.
Yeah. You know,
So,
um, one thing that I have to add is that uh, I think people fail to, and it's just my opinion, um, consider that they kind of have to eat or fuel according to the body type that they want to be. Does that make sense? And I get people who are wanting to get in shape, obviously, as a fitness trainer, and they continue eating like a slob. And obviously, the mismatch there is not going to get them to where they want to be. So I, hey, if you're wanting to lose weight, get in shape, tone up, get stronger, faster, whatever, what would that person have to eat to become that person and maintain that, right? And they have to switch their thinking a little bit. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely agree. What I find with the athletes that I coach, they tend to focus mostly on exercise, and it has to be a balance. So if we're thinking about the four pillars like, as the four legs on your chair, so we're thinking about fuel, um, restoration, exercise, and mindfulness. If you're only pouring into the exercise pillar, what's going to happen is your chair is going to topple over because that one leg gets too long. So really understanding that it is a balance of all four of those things in order to achieve overall wellness, or whatever body type you're trying to achieve, or whatever your personal goals are. It The only way to achieve those goals is to have a balance in those four areas.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Zena, what is the way people can? This has been a great conversation, and we probably can go on and on. What are some of the ways people can get a hold of you, as well as what programs do you have to offer people?
So I do one-on-one health coaching, and you can go to my website. It's honeyandhappiness.com. And it's very easy to get a hold of me through there. All my contact information is there. I also have some workshops if coming up in Naperville in October and November. I have a few that will be opened up to the public. So on November 4th at the Conservation Foundation at 3 p.m. And there will be an Eventbrite coming out, so you're able to sign up for this. But I am going to have a fall wellness workshop that'll be taking place. But my favorite really is to do one-on-one health coaching with clients, and it can be done either in person if you're in the Chicagoland area, or I have a lot of clients that I coach globally through FaceTime or on just online. Some clients are even just phone calls and email support. So, just depending on what your goals are, and sometimes it's just even a basic understanding of how to eat and coming up with a health plan.
Okay, excellent, very good. I'll definitely make sure we put that information in the show notes on how people can get a hold of you. If there was one last piece of advice slash tip, what would that be for our audience?
Um, well, there's so much information out there, and with literally hundreds of dietary theories, it's just important to remember that wellness is not just nutrition and exercise. It's also, those non-plate things that nourish you, things like spirituality, relationships, career, self-care, sleep. You know, just keeping in mind that wellness is a total package, not just, if you work on just one pillar or the other, your wellness will topple over. So if it feels overwhelming, I think, finding a health coach or a doctor or somebody that, can help sort through this information setting goals for yourself and then just finding little tiny ways to making small steps to achieve them.
Really good. Hey, Zena, this was awesome. I really appreciate you sharing this information with us. I am so glad we are able to connect and get this done, and hope you had a good time as well.
I did. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the work you're doing, and I just want to honor you as well for getting all of this information out there all of the time.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. I will let you go, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank you.